I don't know what the name of this podcast is or is going to be yet. I think we're settling in on a name. Right now we are working with the idea of coffee and conversations with Fit Emmett. Coffee and conversations with Fit Emmett.
Coffee conversations with Fit Emmett.
Coffee conversations with Fit Emmett.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today, for our first episode, you know what? Actually, comment below on a good name or what you would think would be a good name for this podcast, for my podcast, Fit Emmett, for our podcast, because Mallory's really smart. She's way smarter than I am. So she comes up with a lot of the content questions and everything, and I'm just a talking head sometimes. So
We can give them some of the topics. It's going to be lots of fitness,
Okay.
lots of life coaching,
motivation, fitness,
health,
motivation, health,
business,
business, yeah,
all that stuff.
all the
That's a rough
things.
summary of the topics I feel like you'll cover.
Man, just put it in a bowl, mix it up.
Everything. Nothing's
This
off
sounds
limits.
like one of those HelloFresh meals that my wife buys. You know, she unboxes everything and it's like 30 ingredients.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I guess just put it in a bowl and we'll mix it up.
Yeah.
And, you know, crazy enough, it comes out amazing. 30 ingredients. But there are steps, you know, putting those things together. Anyway, I can get off on a tangent, but,
that's what podcasting is for.
That's what podcasting is about. So, welcome if you're a guest, comment, wherever you're from and, you know, how do you know Fit Emmett? You know, why are you tuning in? Like, what do you expect to get from the podcast? Hopefully we deliver some value, some content that can help you out in, health, business, life, family.
General self-improvement.
Overall self-improvement. Self-help. So one thing I realized lately about self-help, and maybe this is one of the discussions, is self-help is evolved for me over time. I got so engrossed in the whole world of self-help for a short period of time where I actually went to conventions and everything. Like I went to all the things because it was such a big dopamine hit, being in the crowd, talking to the people. Everybody's motivated. Everybody's doing different things in business and in life. And what I realized about self-help is you can improve on yourself, but sometimes at the end of the day it becomes it can be a selfish venture because everything is geared around motivating yourself. The evolution of self-development for me has been, how do I develop myself to be better for the people that I serve? So that's been my evolution of the whole self-development, personal development, space, because it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Self-help is. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to get lost in that world because it's just an instant dopamine hit. You know, I love a good message. Mm-hmm. I do. I will get lost in a good message.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, how is me receiving that message going to serve other people in my world or help people be better in my world? Or am I just receiving that message so that I can increase my value to get more from the economy, to get more, you know what I'm saying? Do I increase my value so I can get more out of the world? That's how I viewed it. And it's very one-sided. It was one-sided for me for the longest. And that was my perception of self-help.
Yeah.
Improve myself.
Is it sometimes too self-focused?
Too self-focused.
Outward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause why do you build a business? Mm-hmm. So you can make a lot of money? Mm-hmm. Have a lot of stuff? Retire on an island?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because people are going to be at the central focus of every business model that's out there. People are going to be at the center of that. So I don't know, my scope, my whole, you know, ideology behind self-help, personal development, all that's kind of shifted over the years. And I think it's just been a natural progression of me as a person, as a human being, and realizing that it's a very lonely journey when you only serve yourself. Mm-hmm. Now I get people that text me throughout the day, I love you like a brother.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that I ever got that when I was like, going to some motivational speakers event so I can boost myself up so I can then feel good about what I'm doing to go out there and get more stuff from the economy.
Yeah.
I know it's one-sided, it's selfish, but I'm trying to view it more so from a selfless perspective now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's about acting on it and focusing on your why instead of just doing it for yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your why? Comment if you have a why, a reason that's, a reason why you do what you do that's way greater than you. What is the reason for you doing whatever you do? And why is it important? If you're a mom, why is it important for you to be the best mother possible for your tribe, for your people? If you're, Mallory, Mallory's marketing agency, why is it important for you to be the best you, for whatever the circle or people that you serve? So anyway,
something to ponder.
Something to ponder. This episode has been brought to you by Humble Cup. So Humble Cup, thank you for, offering up a good cup of coffee, for us today. It's, located here in Fort Mill, South Carolina. You want to go and, check it out. They offer up a really good cup of coffee. So coffee and combos with Fit Emmett. All right. So what's up? What's on the agenda?
What's our first topic?
All right. So we got topics.
Yeah.
We've got topics that you've submitted through my Facebook page, through Instagram, or however you follow me. I kind of requested from my followers, from my group, some questions that you would like to have answered. And if you're not a follower of Fit Emmett, just any form of social media, Fit Emmett, FITEMMETT, Fit Emmett. So look forward to helping you on your fitness journey. How you motivate yourself daily. How do you motivate yourself daily? Okay. That's a good one to start.
I have to think about it.
Yeah. So how do you, I want to get your answers to this question.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sit back and sip on my humble cup.
I think for me, it's a lot about getting it over with. So it is hard to be motivated because for me, exercise or working out, like getting that done every day is just a part of my schedule. I just know it's something that needs to be in there at some point.
Okay.
So for me, it's not like whether I'm going to or whether I'm not, or, I think there's like a mindset shift of when you just know it's a part of your day. It's one of the things on your to-do list. So when are you going to do it? And I just prefer to get it done earlier, but I won't lie, most days I put it off because I'll wake up and I'll be like, I don't have the energy yet, so I'm gonna start by just doing some work on my computer or doing some work on my phone. But then when I feel it, I go do it. But if I plan it out the night before and I set an alarm, then I'm more likely to wake up and hear that alarm and be like, okay, I'm just gonna go do it. It's a lot about getting it over with.
Getting it over with. All right. So
it's just something you have to do.
Maybe one or two things I heard. One was like non-negotiable.
Yeah.
One, that's a word that's like thrown around a lot in the whole like fitness, personal development space. What are your non-negotiables? So like what in your day, and I think that comes with doing a personal inventory of your life. Like this is where, I try to take every morning to set aside like 30 minutes to an hour of doing like a morning journal assessment, kind of like what needs to be my non-negotiables for that day. Sometimes they don't get done. I'm not going to lie. I'm not necessarily motivated all the time, but like even on the days when I feel like I suck, I still get a workout in. And it's more of just pushing yourself. And that's what creates the habit. Because what we're striving for in the whole motivation thing, you want to motivate yourself until you don't have to motivate yourself. You know what I'm saying? You want to I feel like it's a momentum thing. It's like being on a skateboard. You want to keep pushing yourself until you're just coasting. Until the motivation is not even a factor. You just know that, hey, I wake up and it's just a part of my life, a part of my day. And I mean, there's that whole saying of it takes 30 days to create a habit. I think it takes longer than that. Because me personally, I get to that 30-day mark and I still feel like I'm pushing a little bit. I still feel like I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, and I think a big thing about it is energy. And I think the best way to boost your energy is just get lots of sleep and eating the right things that your body needs. Because I think if I start slacking a little on what I'm putting into my body, or I stayed up late the night before, that's when the next day I don't have the motivation or the energy. Yeah, so I think as long as you're setting that intent, like, all the time with, what you put in, and then you'll wake up feeling like, oh, I want to do that today.
Yeah, and that's what that personal inventory of what motivates you, what demotivates you. Mm-hmm. Like, what is the biggest demotivator for most people? Staying up too late, not getting enough rest. So you wake up tired the next day and you really don't feel like doing anything but sleeping to try to quote unquote recover. Yeah. And do you really catch up on sleep? I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. We could try to say that we catch up on sleep, but
I mean, there's times when I'm like so tired that I'm like, I don't want to do it. So take a 20-minute nap and then go out and do it. If you have that luxury, you know? Yeah. Like, if you have that ability and you have the time in your day, like, rest your eyes for a minute and set an alarm for 15 minutes or whatever it is, and then get up and do it, and just, or some people say, like,
giving yourself grace. You made a good point. Giving yourself grace. And I've met some extreme athletes before, or some extreme fitness people before, where it's been hard for them to, quote unquote, give themselves grace, let their bodies recover. So much so to where they end up injuring themselves or hurting their joints, hurting their neck, hurting their back. Like, something happens and then they have to, like, take a pause, So, like, the whole push yourself, even when you're tired, push yourself, you may feel like you suck that day. Still push yourself. That's great. Yeah. But a part of the self-awareness of it all is, am I doing my body, myself, more harm than good?
And a rest day here and there is not the end of the world. Yeah. It's good for that muscle growth and recovery and whatnot.
This podcast is being brought to you also by Common Cupboard. Common Cupboard helps to partner with neighbors in the community to provide food for those that are food insecure. So there's a lot of homes, a lot of families that don't have food security, meaning that they don't know where the next meal is going to come from. So Common Heart is Common Cupboard, Common Heart. It's commonheart.org if you want to look it up online. And make donations there. They're a nonprofit organization, great organization to help out. I volunteer with this organization and I believe in it wholeheartedly. Commonheart.org.
Awesome. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. Okay. What would you say your daily diet is like and your daily routine?
Daily diet and my daily routine. So it all depends on whether it's like wintertime or summertime.
Doesn't it for us all?
So the wintertime, nutritional fluctuations, it's like a little bit more higher calorie, a little bit more higher, carb, higher calorie, higher carb, still higher protein, but definitely more carbs, carbohydrates like brown rice, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes. I do like fries, so I kind of give myself an opportunity to like
special treat,
bake some fries in the oven. So that so preparation methods means that, accounts for a whole lot with foods. So it's one thing to get like fries from like Five Guys where they're dunking in a whole bunch of like lard, a whole bunch of fat. Yeah. And, so that fat gets infused into that that potato. And now you have this fry that went from, 30 calories to now it's like one little fry is like 50 calories.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, people. Don't be trying to like, take me for face value on the carbohydrate or the calorie content. But, just giving a general idea, like, summertime, I go more for intermittent fasting because I do want to see like one or two abs while I'm on the beach. It's definitely aesthetic. It's evolved.
A little definition.
Yeah, it evolved, or it has evolved to a little bit more aesthetic in nature right now, meaning, not necessarily doing any competing anymore. So, I eat based on, like, winter time. I actually add a little bit more strength, because I'm eating more calories. Um, summertime, I'm more reps, moderate weight, medium weight, higher repetitions, like 30 reps, 50 reps in some of my exercises. So, but of course, that's over 20 some years of my program evolving. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I totally get going
Next question.
with
of course,
seasons.
yeah, it gets going with the seasons. And I think that's the trend for most people, right?
Yeah.
Because in the wintertime, you're wearing bigger clothes. So it's like I'm hiding. It's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like I'm hiding.
Yeah.
I can like,
there's all the holiday traditions and the...
What is it called? When a bear? Hibernation.
Yeah. We're hibernating in the winter. We're about to go back into it, and I'm kind of excited.
Mallory likes her comfy clothes, people.
I like to go back into hibernation.
Yeah. It's a little warm. We're in South Carolina, so it gets a little hot and thick.
Yes.
We wear the humidity like a sweater around here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm wiping my face too.
Yeah, it's a little toasty.
So most of the questions come from you, the viewer, from online. And if you aren't like a follower of Fit Emmett, you can follow me on all forms of social media and also join the Facebook group, Fit Emmett Coaching, where I ask for, just suggestions for topics or questions to discuss. So I appreciate everyone that submitted a topic or a question to discuss. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. So what are your thoughts on the different diets? Like all the fads and,
Wow.
What do you think works? Is it different for different people?
There's so much. That's a big question. I know. This podcast is only supposed to be like 15 minutes or something.
Maybe 30 minutes.
All right. So, and this is going to probably sound counterintuitive for me to say, because most of the viewers expect for me to say, this is what works. Everybody wants the one thing that works.
They want to know what they can do so they can start right now.
What's the one thing that I can do to start right now? So honestly, there are a ton of diet programs, weight loss programs. I have some friends that do a lot of nutritional coaching, weight loss coaching, and a lot of programs work, people. There's a lot of questions that arise. Is it healthy? Well, look at the foods that you're eating when you are following the program or protocol. Are they fried foods? Are they high in saturated fats? Do they have are you eating a lot of foods with gluten in it? There's a lot of questions that you want to ask yourself when evaluating, different weight loss diet programs that are out there. But a lot of them work for the most part. You just want to be smart about your eating. But one that I liked was the Whole30 diet, because that was more like eating the natural foods and how they're grown. Coupling that with like an intermittent fasting schedule. It's always a good idea to keep your body on a schedule, because random eating leads to random results. And that's like something, if you're one of my clients and you probably hear me checking with you over the phone or over Zoom, telling you that same message. Random eating, random results. So if you have a structure or a format that you can follow on a daily basis, that'll produce more consistent results. Hey, why am I not getting results from this thing? Well, if you're randomly going about it, then you'll get random results. So, if you can have a little bit more structure in your nutrition, your eating, follow that protocol. And if it works for you, I would say try it for a month minimum. Try it for a month.
I will say with Whole30, I've done that one before, and I do think it's very effective. My thing with it is I had a very low energy, And that could have been due to I wasn't having enough protein to replace the lack of carbs. Because there's 0 carbs on that other than like if you count fruit as a little bit of a carb. Yeah. Like you're allowed to have a little bit of fruit, but not very much. Yeah. So like if you're doing that and you're doing absolutely no carbs or anything along those lines and very little fat, they only allow like an avocado or like things like that. So like I had really low energy. I lost weight on it, but I think to keep the energy up, if you're an active person or you're working out in the gym, I think you are allowed to have a little bit more of the fats, the healthy fats, or a little bit more protein.
And that's where, like, diet programs try to capture a generalized audience. Mm-hmm. So that's when you sometimes have to take that approach and find the bits and pieces that works best for you.
Yeah, yeah. Like, everybody's different, you know. But that's part of why if you're with Emmett, he gets to talk about what your routine is, and if you're highly active, there's things you're still allowed to have in your diet. And,
and I have nutritionists that work with my clients too. Seriously, that we all communicate. You know, I'll say, hey, Candace, what is this client? What is Chad doing on a weekly basis? And we get to evaluate it, create a dialogue around it, talk about calories, protein, carb, and fat, talk about macronutrients, talk about preparation methods, talk about the food sources, like, are the foods fried? Are you eating a lot of packaged items? You know, a lot of people are like,
the good thing about Whole30 was nothing processed. And I think that was great. It was like a good detox. Get rid of anything that's...
Get rid of all the gluten.
Chemicals and processed and preservatives and all that nasty stuff. I like them as all natural. Yeah. But I think keto's a good one.
You know,
pretty good. Mediterranean.
They're all, that's what I'm saying. They're all good. They have good elements, good parts about them.
Yeah.
There's, you talking about, getting rid of all the preservatives and all the chemicals. And this is my little theory, and there's no science behind it. It's just Fit Emmett's observation of 20 some years of coaching people with food becoming more and more and more processed. And more chemicals and more nutritional advances to create more healthier items, but they still have chemicals in them. There's a lot of our autoimmune diseases that are popping up like crazy. Things that I've never even heard of. Like, where does that come from? Yeah. And then, I mean, there could be a debate on, you know, the atmosphere is changing. There's more pollution in the air and around us, and the water we drink is not good. Like, so there's a lot of, you know, theories out there, but I really think it starts with our food source.
I agree. I think it's arguable that the biggest thing that affects your body and your health has got to be what you're putting directly into it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think it comes down to the food. I think that's the biggest thing. I think because like my workout routine stays the same pretty much throughout the year. The only thing that changes is what food. I'm eating. So like the hibernation thing, I'm like, I put on a little in the winter. It's because of the food.
Your
I don't
calorie
change
intake
anything.
is like,
I don't change
let's
anything
see,
in my
Halloween, you know, you gotta pass out Halloween candy, right? Guess what happened? Guess what comes with that Halloween candy? A couple extra pounds.
The Reese's pumpkins. Those are the best.
The crazy thing is a lot of people know what to do, but what makes, you know, people working with me and coaching with me so effective is the accountability piece of it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when I have conversations with them every single week, I'm like, all right, well, you want to tell me why we're up 5 pounds this week? And my goal is like, we're 10 pounds away from goal. Why are you up 5 pounds? They're like, well, I went out this week. Like, they know what they did.
Yeah.
So most people know, essentially.
And I think a lot of times, like, you have to be really conscious about the decisions you're making when you're trying to commit to these things. Yeah. Because I think, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm going to do better. And then you just kind of slowly drift back into not doing great because you're just not paying attention. So having someone who like reminds you,
move you, like get you back on track, back on track,
kind of shift you back on track. Yeah. And if something's not working, you'll adapt and be like, okay, we need to try this instead. So
you heard it.
Okay, maybe we could squeeze in one more question. All right, so someone online asked,
Emmett. Deb Meyer. I think I'm pronouncing your name correct, Deb. Don't hurt me if I'm not. Yes. Deb works with physical therapy office in Fort Mill. So if you're not Fort Mill, Pineville. So if you're in Pineville, you need a good physical therapist. Contact Deb Meyer at Physical. It's got a weird spelling, Physical. I think it starts with an F.
F-Y, yeah, I think you're right.
C-I-C-A-L.
Yeah,
so, I'll add Deb at physical. Thanks thanks for asking a question. So, what's the question?
So, what are some common injuries people may have with fitness getting started, and maybe ways to avoid that?
Okay. What are some common injuries when people get started with fitness? There's different types of people, right? There's people that are like highly coachable, that want to start off wherever you start them. Cause I usually like to start people off where they're at, where they're starting from. Yeah. So whatever their baseline strength is, their baseline mobility is, their baseline, just functionality altogether. I try to start there and progress them. The challenge comes with a lot of, it's usually guys. Love you guys. But I'm going to pick on my own people here my own dudes for a second. Guys come in and think that, hey, I played football in college. And they're 50 years old. Like they played football in their 20s for a D1 program, and they're going to come to me all like, ready to gun ho,
so they think they can
ready to go.
The same level.
I remember what I used to do, so I'm going to go back to what I used to do. Right. Your program has to evolve. You remember we talked about like age and aging and honoring your body in a way that you're not causing more harm.
I think even I'm only 25 and I had to learn that I have to be more mindful with my form, because for the first time ever I pulled a back muscle a month ago when I was doing squats and I couldn't walk for like 2 days.
Probably because you thought back to, hey, when I used to work out, this is what I would do.
Well, and I've been consistently working out for like since I was 15, like for years. So like I think I just I'm lazy sometimes or tired. I just had a cold or whatever. So I think it's just, I don't know, like showing yourself grace, but also just
and being mindful of the necessary things it takes to honor your body through the process, which is stretching and warm up.
And I think when you're 18, you like don't stretch or anything, and you don't injure yourself usually.
I remember getting in the gym and just putting 225 on the squat rack. That's what I started with.
Yeah. Because you're limber, everything's loose, and you know, and I think like even as young as 25, I'm already like, oh, I gotta be more careful. I gotta be really careful with my squat form. I gotta be doing back exercises. I gotta stretch more before and after. So.
And, another thing, probably not related to the whole aging thing but there are a lot of group fitness programs out now, group fitness gyms. That's the model that's like, that's trendy right now, or that's like doing well, the fitness model. So you've got a lot of group fitness gyms, and when people are inviting their neighbor, cousin, whatever, to a group fitness gym that maybe never worked out before, you're in a large group of people.
It's a lot of pressure
to perform. Right into you're just being thrusted right into, like, you just got off the couch. Now you got to do box jumps?
No.
I mean, it's exciting. The music's loud. I love the group fitness environment. I even like point people to different group fitness type business models to get into or to start, because they're just fun.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say
the person that has a lot of injuries and things, don't just jump into something like that. Like,
and you've shown, we have some people on your page, like you've shown helping older people or people with injuries or whoever, and like finding modifications.
Common injuries typically stem from maybe going a little bit too hard, too early, like jumping right in and not being mindful of, the fact that you're just starting, or maybe starting back and it's been a long break since the last time you actually did something. Maybe even high level athletes where they were, D1 running back for Ohio State.
Hey.
D1, Division I running back for Ohio State 20 years ago. And now you want to jump back in, but you want to jump back in thinking in the back of your mind, man, I used to do 225 pounds for 50 reps.
Yeah.
You're not what you used to be. I'm sorry to break it to you, my previous athletes. I think I encountered that a lot with athletes, probably in their 40s and 50s, that think that I played D1 sports or high level sports, and now I could just jump back in, not being mindful of the fact that you have maybe aged, you're maybe a little bit more like not as flexible, functional as you used to be, because you're not as active in your sport. Yeah. You might have to start off with baby steps.
Pace yourself.
Pace yourself, yeah. And it's challenging because the energy in a lot of those group fitness models lends itself to pushing yourself and going all out. It's just like being on a treadmill running. Have you ever gotten on a treadmill beside other people and you're just like walking, but everybody else is like running? You're like, maybe I need to speed it up a little bit. Yeah. So it's kind of that same, I don't want to say pressure in a group fitness model, but you're moving. Usually they have stations, and usually like, oh, let's go, next station, let's go. Meanwhile, you're like, what are we doing? Yeah. I don't know what I'm working.
You could maybe warn the instructor that it's been a while for you.
Yeah.
They may tell you some modifications, but just ease into it, I think, is the main idea.
Yeah, the main idea is just know yourself. Like, don't just jump in. And that's why coaching with a trainer or just somebody, that can watch your technique, watch your form, that might be a good place to start, especially if you have prior injuries or you have injuries currently or limitations that might prevent you from doing different movements. Just kind of see what you can do within what you're working with right now. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, not everybody's a CrossFit athlete, okay?
Yeah. I gotta take my own advice, and I gotta stretch more. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a good reminder for both of us. I mean, for everybody, but I think this is, know where you are. Be mindful of where you are right now, and not trying to, like I said, not trying to dissuade or to have anybody not join a group fitness gym because they're afraid of how intense it's going to be. Like, literally, the trainers are there. Ask them modifications, They should be able to provide a little assistance as you move throughout the program. So, yeah.
All right. Humble Cup, thanks for letting us come check it out.
Humble Cup, thank you. We appreciate it. Great cup of coffee. I'm trying to pace myself because this light blend is a little potent. So I feel myself about to levitate a little bit right now. And also commonheart.org. They're a nonprofit organization that I work with, that I partner with. They do a lot of good for the community and helping out with food insecurity. So a lot of families, are food insecure. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. And Common Heart is an organization that helps to provide meals for families over Union County and surrounding areas. So thank you, Common Heart. You can go on their website, donate, volunteer, your church group, your gym, your fitness facility. You might want to band together with a group of friends to go volunteer. They do a lot of weekend deliveries. So just go on their website, see how you can help. Oh, Elizabeth Unsworth. Yeah, so Elizabeth Unsworth, thank you. She's one of my followers on social media on Facebook. And if you're not one of my followers or if you're not on Facebook, I try to post things on Instagram, Facebook, just TikTok as well. It's Fit Emmett. So FITEMMETT on all the platforms. And I try to provide good content, good information to help serve you to be a better version of you. And Elizabeth actually alluded to a topic, or not a topic, but a name for the podcast.
Because we were thinking coffee conversations with Fit Emmett.
Coffee conversations.
That's like what we were working with potentially, but Elizabeth suggested faster, better, stronger.
Stronger, better, faster, leaner. All you and
maybe that'll be our song.
I think that's going to be our song. Yeah. It needs to be.
Yeah.
Not the Kanye version.
Yeah.
The Daft Punk version.
Yeah.
She's a little too young to know who Daft Punk is.
I only know the Kanye version.
Daft Punk. DAFT.
But if you guys...
PUNK.
If you want to see more, I think Emmett will interview some different people. Maybe occasionally I'll be here.
If you want to be on, listen, if you want to be on the podcast, conversations. I would like to spotlight different, coffee companies, different businesses, fitness pros. If I would love to sit down and partner with other fitness pros to like ask questions, create a conversation with a good cup of coffee. Different businesses we like to spotlight as well. So I'd love to have you. So come on out.
Cheers.
Stronger, better, faster, later. On and